In these days, as cars are mandated to have more and more standard equipment, finding a cheap car is getting hard. Finding a good cheap car, well, that's getting hard as well. This is a serious contender if you are looking for a cheap new car. The Nissan Versa starts at just over $14,000 new, making it one of the cheapest new cars you can buy. That said, this thing does not come scarcely equipped. This thing has a nice large infotainment screen. You're getting some nice seats in here. So we're gonna take a look and see if it all looks as good as it does on paper, and we're gonna see how it works. We're excited to take a look at this 2020 Nissan Versa SV here at Dark Cars Nissan of College Park. A huge thanks to them for letting us take a look at it. A link to their website will be in the description below. And a huge thanks to you all for watching. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing for weekly car review content. All right, let's get into it. Looking at the front of the vehicle, this definitely shows some of its economy car roots just because it's pretty thin and tall. If you look at the new Sentra, Nissan has actually been working on widening it and lowering it. Not as much for this guy, so he still looks a little more econobox, but you do have some pretty good looking headlights. This SV does not have LED headlights, but the SR will get LED headlights. You have your V-Motion grille right here, which looks pretty good. For those of you who don't know, this grille basically gets bigger and bigger the nicer the vehicle you get in Nissan's lineup. Just a fun little tidbit right there. And you have a radar sensor right here in your Nissan logo. Not too much to say about the front, just a nice cohesive design. Looking at the side of the Versa, this is where it definitely stands out from a lot of its competitors and trying to look more outlandish and more crazy and fun. This electric blue color definitely contributes to that. Very bright and eye-catching. You have these 16-inch alloy wheels right here. They look great in the two-tone finish. Really like that. Your mirrors are body color, which is excellent to see on an under 20 grand car with the integrated turn signal. They also are heated, and your blind spot monitor is in the mirror. For those of you that don't know, some Nissans have the blind spot monitor inside on your A-pillar. This one has it in on the mirror, which is something to note. Back here, you do have the floating roofline look. I do not like the look of it on this vehicle. I think if they put a glossier black right here, it would look more realistic and it would look better overall. But just doing the regular black plastic like this just makes it look cheap. Wish they would have just continued that pillar right there. But other than that, it's a pretty handsome design, especially for its price point. It's gonna catch some eyes. The back of the vehicle is again quite eye-catching. You have these incandescent taillights that they did a pretty good job with in terms of shaping and making them look good. And looking down from there, you have this fake carbon fiber material right here, which definitely gives a sporty look to the vehicle in conjunction with this little baby diffuser right there. They did a good job of giving it some flair, especially for this price point, and not leaving it like a bland economy car. Underneath, your exhaust is tucked away. Let's open your trunk. It can be opened from your key. Just hold down the button, it pops open. In here, you're gonna find close to 15 cubic feet of space, which is just absolutely massive for a vehicle like this. That is awesome. Now let's talk about the trims that you can get for a Versa. Starting at $14,730, the base S is going to come with a 5-speed manual transmission, but a CVT is optional. You're also going to get features like auto emergency braking and lane keep assist. At $17,640, the SV, like the one we have here today, is going to get you features like these 16-inch alloy wheels. It's also going to get you nicer, comfier seats, and it's going to get you blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. At $18,240, the SR is going to get you LED headlights. It's also going to get you these orange accented seats and a proximity key with push button start. Let's talk about your safety features. You're getting a lot of advanced safety features for a car well under a 20 grand price point. You're getting lane keep assist. You're also getting blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. You're also getting forward auto emergency braking and rear emergency braking. Under the hood of the Versa right here, you're gonna find a 1.6 liter inline-4 engine. It's exposed, no cover on it, which is awesome. It's gonna make you about 122 horsepower, around 114 pound-feet of torque. You can expect around 32 mpg in the city, around 40 on the highway for 35 EPA combined. General interior impressions, first of all, it's that everything is hard touch. Now, it's not such a bad thing because this car is cheap. Even your mirror area right up here is hard touch plastic. But they do give you a nice soft touch stitched leather right here that kind of helps break it up and adds a much more premium touch to this vehicle. The white in here contrasts nicely with the blue there. In terms of the general design, the screen's nicely integrated. Things work together nicely and look like they're easily reachable. For this price point of car, a lot of thought clearly went into this, which is awesome. Your seats feel pretty comfy. They're nice soft cloth seats. They have these little patterns in them, and they have the white accenting on the outside, which definitely adds a more premium premium touch. Overall, first interior impressions are pretty positive, especially for this price point. Let's dig a bit more into it. Looking at your driver's area here, things are definitely good. Your steering wheel right here isn't leather, but for the 14 to 17 grand range, that's not really to be expected. They have a nice injection molded plastic here. That feels better than a lot of non-leather materials brands like to use. Here's some nice accenting down here. You have the flat bottom look, which definitely gives it a bit more of a sporty look. All your buttons are easy to access with your thumbs while you're driving, which is super important. These buttons right here are going to control that screen back there that we'll take a look at in just a second. Your stalks feel pretty good, especially for this price point. Having high quality tactile touches like that is super important. Looking at that screen right there, you can see you have a physical speedometer on your right, and then you have a digital tachometer on your left with that big screen. This screen can be manipulated using these buttons. So you can see as I go through the menus, you have your radio. This is some information about your fuel economy, just basic driving information. Here's your trip menus. You can see all your driving aids, what's going off. So that's definitely super useful. It's not super customizable, but it does give you a wide array of information that you would be really interested in. One thing I find kind of interesting and quirky is your fuel gauge down there. You might be able to see, doesn't say empty or full. It says 0 or 1. Apparently you have 1 gas or 0 gas in the Versa. Also, something interesting to note about this area is they chose like a fake carbon fiber to go around it, which is interesting. Adds a bit more of a premium touch, even if it is fake. It's a nice little pattern that breaks up the interior. Visibility is pretty good in this vehicle. You have a pretty thin A-pillar, but it does go out kind of far in front of you, so that is something to note. Your screen right here is excellent for this price point. It's not the fastest, but it definitely is snappy enough. And what's really special about this screen is the customization. Take a note of this clock right there. We're going to go to your settings right here, customize your home menu, and now you can drag any widget you want. So let's say instead of a clock, I want my phone settings. You can drag that there, select yes, and now if I go home, you'll see my phone will show there instead of a clock. So that is really cool. Another cool feature in your settings is your volume and beeps. If you change your ringtone, it plays a nice little song for you. All right, and so that's a nice little song. Going back from there, something that's very important, of course, is your backup camera. Popping a car into reverse brings that up automatically, and you can see that it does have guidance, which is awesome. There are cars much more expensive than this that do not have guidance, so seeing that is absolutely fantastic. So definitely a very usable system. If I had one complaint, it would be the speed, and another complaint would be it could be a little bit brighter, but other than that, it is an excellent system, especially for this price point. And not a whole lot to say about your AC right here. This is one of the simpler looking systems I've seen in a while because we have single zone climate right here, and it's not automatic, but you just choose your fan and it goes. It's just so nice. It has this nice simple dials that feel amazing. They feel really stiff, way stiffer than far more premium cars than this, which I really like. Nice big buttons that are easy to hit. 10 out of 10 for the climate controls, Nissan. Looking below your climate controls, you have really nice I/O. You have a USB port, which is awesome, aux, and then you have your cigarette lighter right there. Then you have this nice big storage space. Here is my iPhone 10, and it fits in there, no problem whatsoever. Nice storage space right there. Down from that, you do have your push button start. We do have push button start on this vehicle, which is awesome. And then you have your gear shifter, which feels pretty good for this price point. I love how substantial the lever feels. This plastic around it is definitely pretty cheap though and flimsy, which is just something I noticed when I accidentally hit it. All this right here is hard touch. But that's okay. My knee does not really rub against it while I'm sitting here. And you have a nice little pouch right here. I wish they made this a little deeper so I could fit some more coins or something without having to worry about them sliding out, but still a pretty nice job overall. Looking in the center, you do have your manual handbrake right there. You also have two cup holders. I wish they had the little pieces that pushed in to hold your smaller cups still, but you can't have everything. You have two USB-A ports right here, so that's 3 USB-A ports in the front, which is really awesome for an entry-level car. And then a nice little pocket right there to fit whatever you need. This area definitely isn't big enough to fit a center console because you do have an armrest for your driver. Sitting in the back here, you do have pretty good legroom. This is where a seat would be if I were driving. Feels pretty good, so that is a huge plus. Headroom is a bit of a premium. Being 6 feet tall, my head is just touching the roof, so that is something to take note of. Your seats are a bit stiffer than the ones up front, but that's okay because they still are perfectly comfortable. You can definitely fit 2 adults here. 3 would be a stretch because of the thin middle seat and the hump in the floor. Also, there's not a whole lot of bolstering between the seats to keep all 3 people separate. There's no pull-out in the center, but I wouldn't really expect that for this price range. No climate vents either. No dedicated ports for charging back here, but you can reach those 2 we saw up front with fair ease. You do have a nice armrest right here that's nice and padded, and you have some of the cool carbon fibery materials on your doors back here. And of course, you have power windows too, which is awesome. So for a vehicle at this price point, you're definitely getting a usable place to transport passengers. So this is actually one of the cheapest cars we've ever reviewed on this channel. About 50 reviews in, about a year and a half, this is the cheapest car. But it's not the worst. I actually like this car for the price. It creates a nice accessible way to get yourself into a brand new car, which I really admire, and Nissan seems to be one of the few brands that's actually really trying to cater to this price point in the mid teens. So that is really, really cool to see, and I really admire that. A big thanks to Dark Cars Nissan of College Park for letting us take a look at this vehicle, and a huge thanks to you all for watching. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing for weekly review content and so we can review more cool cars like this. Thank you all for watching. Have a great week.